The sky was red when they pushed her into the cave. Elia fell hard onto the rocky floor, her knees scraping against the cold stone. The heavy metal door behind her slammed shut. Dust rose around her, choking her lungs. She coughed and looked back. But the door was already sealed from the outside. The voices of the others were fading now. They had left her. Again, she was alone. Her arms trembled as she tried to sit up. Her clothes were torn. Her forehead was bleeding, and her heart. That was the part that hurt the most. They said she was cursed, that strange things happened when she was around, that the fire last night was her fault, that the baby who got sick was because of her. But she didn't do anything wrong. She only wanted to help. Now she was here, in the cave, the one the colony leaders warned everyone to stay away from, the one no one ever returned from. They didn't just abandon her. They sentenced her. Elia sat against the wall, her breath shaking. The cave was cold and quiet. Too quiet. But something was in here with her. She felt it. Like the air itself was alive, watching her. Her eyes scanned the dark. She couldn't see far. Only a few soft blue lights glowed along the cave walls, like tiny mushrooms. They cast a faint shimmer on the rough stone. Far across the cave, in the deepest shadows, something moved. Very slowly, she froze. A shape, large, too large. Not human. It had claws, wings, glowing yellow eyes. The head of a beast. A neck that curved, like a serpent. A long tail that slid across the ground with a low hiss. A dragon. Elia's lips parted. She couldn't even scream. She was too tired, too broken. If this was how she died, then fine. At least it would be quiet, but the dragon didn't move closer. It only watched her, its great golden eyes locked with hers. Silent, still. Minutes passed, then hours. She lay there, too weak to move. She thought the creature would come and burn her or eat her. That's what monsters did, but the dragon didn't. It only sat like a statue, breathing slow and deep. The sound was like thunder rolling through the cave. Warm air reached her from its nose. For some reason, it didn't feel scary. It felt safe. Ilia closed her eyes. "Are you going to kill me?" she whispered. The dragon blinked once. She tried to smile, even though her lips were dry and cracked. "I don't mind. Just don't make it hurt too much." The dragon did not answer. Of course not. It was a beast. But something strange happened. A low, gentle rumble came from the dragon's chest, like a sigh. Or a hum. It stepped forward. Once Elia flinched, but it didn't come too close. Just enough so she could see it better. Its scales weren't just black. They shimmered with deep green and violet when the cave lights touched them. Its wings were folded tight against its sides, torn in some places like it had fought 1,000 wars. Its eyes were not cruel. They were sad, ancient, tired. Elia tilted her head. "You've been here a long time, haven't you?" The dragon's head shifted slightly. A tiny nod. A breeze moved through the cave, and with it came the faint scent of burning wood and flowers. Elia breathed in slowly. She had been afraid before, but now she just felt curious. "Do you understand me?" she asked. The dragon didn't reply, but in her mind, something answered. A whisper. "Yes," Elia gasped. "You can talk." No sound came from the dragon's mouth, but the whisper returned, softer this time. "Only when it matters." She blinked back tears. "I don't want to die." "Then don't." Elia looked down at her hands. They were small, bruised, and shaking. "They left me here because I'm different, because I scare them." The dragon lowered its head slightly, closer to her now. Its breath was warm. She didn't pull back. Different is not broken. Elia stared into its eyes. Then what am I? For a long moment, the dragon didn't answer. Then, slowly, it said, "You are becoming." Elia didn't understand what that meant, but the way the dragon said it, it made her feel like she wasn't nothing anymore. Like maybe, just maybe, something bigger was happening. The cave no longer felt like a tomb. It felt like a beginning. The dragon's eyes did not blink. They stayed on her, watching, studying, remembering. Elia sat with her arms around her knees. She was still sore, still weak, but something in her had changed. She didn't feel as afraid now. The great creature in front of her wasn't just a beast. It had feelings, thoughts, maybe even pain. Its eyes told her everything, not with words, but with the way they held hers, like a memory stretching across time. Elia reached out her hand, slowly, carefully. She didn't know why. Maybe it was crazy. Maybe she was just too tired to care. But the dragon didn't move away. It lowered its head inch by inch until its giant nose touched her fingers. Its scales were warm and smooth, like heated stone. She expected to feel fear. Instead, her heart slowed. Her tears stopped. Her hand rested on the side of the dragon's nose, and it breathed. Softer, a bond was forming deep inside his mind. The dragon remembered another time. Another girl, another world. Her name was Syria. She was not human. She had wings of her own, though much smaller. She was kind, curious. She had not feared him either, and she had died. A long time ago, burned in the final war of the Scarvan Empire. The Rexla dragon had once been their weapon, their king. Of fire, he had brought cities to their knees, melted towers, screamed thunder into the stars. But when Syria died, he left it all. He buried himself in silence and in shame. Now, this fragile human girl reminded him of her. Elia's small hand pressed gently against his face. Her skin was trembling, but her eyes were steady. "You look lonely," she said softly. The dragon didn't speak out loud, but his thought drifted into her mind. "I have been alone longer than your kind has counted years." Elia didn't understand how he spoke in her head, but she liked it. The voice felt deep, old, and quiet. It didn't hurt. It soothed her bones. "What's your name?" she asked. There was a pause then. "Thyrex." Elia smiled. "That sounds strong." "It means firebound sky." She laughed, weak but honest. "Well, I'm Elia. It just means ... me." The dragon closed his eyes just for a moment. "You are not just you." Elia tilted her head. "What do you mean?" The cave lights dimmed for a moment, and Thyrex leaned closer. "You carry something inside, something old, something broken, but it is not dead." Elia looked down at her hands. "Oh, I don't feel strong." "You don't have to feel strong to become strong." She looked up again, right into his golden eyes, and something sparked. For a moment, everything around her faded. The cave, the pain, the past. Elia saw something, a flash of wings, not hers, but ones made of light. Fire curled around her arms. She stood on a mountain of black glass, roaring not in fear, but in rage. The stars above her moved when she raised her hand. Then it was gone. She gasped and pulled back. Her hand shook. "What was that?" he whispered. "Syrex." Looked at her closely. "A shadow of what waits within you." Elia backed up, frightened again. "Is it bad?" The dragon slowly shook his massive head. "It is not good. It is not bad. It is power. And power is only what you choose to do with it." She didn't understand it fully. She believed him. She stared into his eyes again, so deep, so full of memory. And she asked, "Why didn't you kill me, Thyrex?" Was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Because I saw someone else in you, and I do not want to fail again." Silence fell again between them, but now it wasn't cold. It was heavy with meaning. Elia moved closer to him, curling against his warm side like a child seeking comfort. T-Rex didn't move. He just let her. "Stay. Do you think I'll change?" she asked. T-Rex answered, "You already are." Hours passed. She drifted in and out of sleep. Every time she dreamed, the fire returned, and wings, and light. When she awoke, she noticed something. The scratch on her legget was gone. The bruises on her arms faded, and her skin glowed faintly. Just for a second. Before returning to normal, T-Rex saw it too. He closed his eyes. It had begun. The dragon's eyes narrowed not in anger, but in worry. He had seen this once before. Power like this never came without cost. Ilia touched her heart. It felt like something inside was waking up, like she wasn't alone anymore. Not just because of T-Rex, but because something else now lived in her, something ancient and waiting. Ilia's hands shook as she stared at her own reflection in a pool of water. The water was still cold and clear, gathered in a shallow dip in the cave floor. But what she saw in it didn't feel like her. Her eyes were glowing, only faintly, and only for a moment, but she saw it. A soft, golden ring had flashed around her pupils, then faded. She blinked again and again, splashing water on her face. But when she looked up, her heart thudded. Small silver lines had formed on her cheek, like cracks, but not broken. Like they glowed from inside. She touched them gently. They were warm. They pulsed. "What's happening to me?" she whispered behind. Her T-Rex breathed deeply. The dragon didn't speak, but his eyes were fixed on her. Not in fear, not in anger, but in recognition. He had seen this before, as Ilia stood. Her body felt lighter, but her chest was heavy with questions. Her skin tingled, her heartbeat was faster, her senses sharper. She could hear tiny drips of water echoing across the cave, smell the heat in the dragon's breath, and feel a soft wind coming from a hole high above in the ceiling, even though she hadn't noticed it before. "T-Rex," she said quietly, turning toward the beast. "Am I still human?" The dragon's golden eyes slowly blinked. Then his deep voice echoed in her mind. "You are more." She swallowed hard. What does that mean? He stepped forward, his claws tapping gently on the stone. He stood tall. Now, the firelight dancing across his scales. His wings twitched once, unfolding slightly. "Long ago," he said, "the stars chose champions. Few beings could carry what you now carry. Fewer still could control it." Ilia frowned. "Carry what?" "A spark," he rumbled. "A piece of something older than fire, older than me. You are not the first, but you may be the last." Ilia backed up, her foot slipping on the stone. "I didn't ask for this," she cried. "I didn't want any of this. No one ever does." His words struck her heart. Tears welled in. Her eyes, "They threw me in here to die. And now you're saying I'm becoming some weapon." The dragon lowered his head until it was level with hers. His voice was softer now. "Not a weapon, a choice." Ilia sat down again, hugging her knees. She was shaking, not just from fear, but from everything building inside. Thoughts, memories, visions that weren't hers. A world made of glass, a sky filled with 3 suns, a girl standing alone, wings on her back, and flames rising from her shoulders. She whispered, "I don't want to hurt anyone." And deep inside her chest, something pulsed, like a drumbeat. Like a second heartbeat, not hers. She gasped and clutched her chest. "What is that?" The dragon's eyes narrowed. His voice was firmer now. The change begins. Your body fights it. Your soul remembers it. But your mind must accept it. I don't understand, she cried. You will. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed from deep in the cave crack. The stone walls trembled. Bits of dust rained down from the ceiling. Ilya looked around in panic. What was that? The Rex growled low, his wings rising. Something has awakened. From the shadows, light flickered, strange, pulsing light. It came from a crack in the stone wall. The very wall Ilya had leaned against the first. Night now, it was glowing. The lines in the rock pulsed the same color as the glow on her cheek. Ilya's heart raced. Without thinking, she stepped toward it. The dragon barked. Stop. But her body moved on its own. Her hand reached forward. The stone cracked louder, and then exploded outward in a wave of light. The Rex shielded her with his wing, roaring as wind and fire blasted through the cave. When it faded, Ilya stood before a chamber dot round, silent, glowing dot in the center. A floating stone orb covered in silver. Markings hovered above a carved platform. It called to her. Thyrex stepped forward slowly. His voice trembled. I thought it was destroyed. Ilya turned. What is it? A heartstone, he whispered. The last of the ember cores. It chose you. She stared at the orb, spun slowly, glowing brighter when she came near. It wants something, she whispered. It's waiting. Dragon nodded slowly. It waits for your answer. Touch it, and your path begins. Ilya looked back at him, fear all over her face. What if I can't go back? Thyrex replied, you already crossed the line. The girl they threw away is gone. Ilya stared at the orb. Then she reached out, the moment her fingers touched. Light filled the room. Her body lifted from the ground, hair floating, fire swirling around her feet. The silver lines on her skin flared like molten lava. Her eyes turned gold, and inside her Minda, 1,000 voices screamed. Then went silent. She landed gently. Her clothes were torn, but her back was straight. Her eyes were calm. She looked at Thyrex and said only one word. I'm ready. Ilya stood very still. The air around her was glowing. The silver cracks on her skin were brighter now, stretching down her neck and along her arms. She wasn't shaking anymore. She wasn't crying. She wasn't weak. But she wasn't calm either. Inside her chest, something was moving. Not just her. Heart, something else. A whisper, a voice that wasn't hers. And it was growing louder. She turned toward Thyrex, her eyes glowing faintly gold. Her voice was quiet, but steady. Something's inside me. I hear it. I feel it. Thyrex stepped forward, his wings lowered, his great head bowed with respect. Do not fear it. The voice belongs to the ember. Ilya blinked. The ember? Nodded. The living spark of an ancient power. Not born of fire, not born of stars. Born of balance. Few are chosen. Fewer survive. I'm not special, Ilya whispered. You are not, Thyrex agreed. But the ember did not choose you because you were special. It chose you because you were ready to break, and instead, you rose. Ilya didn't know what that meant, but the voice inside her did, and it finally spoke. Ilya, she gasped. She had heard it clearly now. It's a gentle voice, female, warm like fire, but soft like falling ash. Who are you? Ilya said out loud. A memory of a queen who never ruled, a protector who never saved. I am what remains. And now, I am inside you. Ilya dropped to her knees. The world around her spun. Images flooded her mind, giant ships burning in the sky. A girl with silver wings falling from a tower. Dragons screaming in the air. A golden egg glowing in the hands of a small child, and a planet breaking in two. Thyrex moved toward her, but stopped. He saw her hands rise into the air, glowing. The ember was binding to her completely. Inside her mind, the voice spoke again. "You carry a piece of me, Aaliyah, and now I carry a piece of you. What do you want from me?" Aaliyah asked, eyes closed, breathing heavy. "Nothing, except to help you become what they and what they need." Aaliyah opened her eyes slowly. "Will I still be human? You will be something better." When she stood again, her body felt stronger. Her legs didn't wobble. Her wounds were completely healed. Even her scars from the crash, the ones she'd hidden from everyone, were gone. But something inside her felt broken still. "I don't want to hurt people," she said quietly. Sirik stepped beside her now, his golden eyes soft. Then learned to protect them. A few hours passed. They sat together in silence near the edge of the glowing chamber. The heartstone had dimmed now. Its work was done for now. Aaliyah sat cross-legged, listening to the soft breath of the dragon beside her. "What happens now?" she finally asked. Therix didn't answer immediately. Then he said, "Now, you learn to listen." "To what?" "To the voice inside. The power growing in your blood. To the world around you. And most of all, to your own heart." Aaliyah gave a tired smile. "Sounds like a lot of listening." The Ruck smiled to war. At least, it felt like a dragon's version of smiling. Suddenly, the cave floor shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. Cracks spread across the walls. Aaliyah stood quickly. "Is it an earthquake?" Thyrax growled low. "No, it is something worse." A loud sound echoed through the cave-like footsteps. But they were too heavy, too slow, and they came from deep. Underground, Aaliyah's eyes widened. "What is that?" "The other," Thyrax said grimly. "The other, what?" "There were two heartstones once," he explained. "One for light, one for shadow. You awakened the first, and the second awakened itself." From the far end of the chamber, a deep red glow appeared. The stone cracked open with a sharp roar. A creature stepped out, tall, twisted, humanoid, but wrong. Its skin was dark like burnt coal, with lines of glowing red running through its chest and face. Its eyes were hollow pits. Aaliyah stepped back. The voice inside her flared. "Run!" Thyrax roared, stepping in front of her. "Do not run." "Not yet." The creature snarled, its mouth opening wide as fire dripped from its teeth. Aaliyah's hands started glowing, silver and gold light pouring from her palms. "I don't know how to fight," she said, trembling. "You don't need to know," Thyrax said. "You need to feel." The voice inside her rose like a wave. "Let go." Aaliyah clenched her fists, and then light exploded from her body. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't controlled, but it was enough. The creature roared and was pushed back by the wave of heat and light. The cave ceiling cracked more, and rubble fell. Aaliyah dropped to the ground. Exhausted, the creature was gone for now. But Thyrax looked at her with a new expression. Not just respect, but fear. "You are becoming faster than I expected," he said. Quietly, Aaliyah looked up, her face pale. "I don't want to become a monster," Iliax answered. "Then hold on to what makes you human, and let the ember protect the rest." Smoke drifted from the cave mouth into the pale morning sky. A group of humans stood outside, fully armed and ready. Their faces were tight with fear. Their weapons shook in their hands, but none of them turned back. They had heard the noise during the night, shaking earth. Strange lights and something that sounded like dragonfire. The elders had warned them. The cave was cursed. No one should ever go near it. But now, something had woken up inside, and it wasn't human anymore. Captain Grayson raised his fist. The group of 8 followed behind him, moving in silence. They had sealed Ilya inside that cave only 2 days ago. I left her to die, to vanish, to never return. But the scanners showed strange energy spikes, too strong, too unnatural. She was still alive, and worse, changing. If we wait any longer, Grayson whispered, we'll lose the chance to stop it. A soldier beside him nodded. You think she's the one making all this happen? She wasn't normal before, he said coldly. Now she's something else. If we don't put her down, we may not get another chance. No one argued. They entered the cave, guns ready. Minds locked, hearts full of fear. Inside the glowing chamber, Ilya sat quietly, her legs crossed, hands resting in her lap. The heartstone behind her was dim now, but her body still shimmered faintly. Golden lines pulsed beneath her skin. Her breath was slow, controlled. Her eyes were closed. She could feel the ember inside her now, like a quiet fire in her veins. It no longer scared her. It guided her beside her. Dyrax lay curled in a resting coil, his wings wrapped protectively around them both. He had been watching her sleep, speaking to her through dreams, helping her listen to the voice inside. But now his head lifted. He growled. They are coming. Ilya opened her eyes. The humans, Thorax nodded. They bring fear. And weapons. She stood slowly. They want to kill me. Because they do not understand you. She touched her chest. The glow inside flickered. I'm not sure I understand me either, she said softly. Thorax rose to his full height. Then speak. With truth. If they will not hear it, you still have the ember. Ilya didn't want to fight, but she would not. Run, not this time. The humans reached the chamber. They stopped the moment. They saw her. Ilya stood at the center of the glowing room, her body half-shadowed by Thorax's wings. She looked taller somehow. Her hair was no longer tangled, but floating slightly around her head like it was alive. Her skin held that faint silver light. Her eyes glowed gold. She looked like something out of legend. Captain Grayson raised his rifle. Step away from the beast, Ilya. She didn't move. You're afraid of me. You're not human anymore. I didn't choose this, she said. Then end it. Come forward. Let us help you. By shooting me. She asked quietly. No one spoke. Thorax rumbled behind her, his chest shaking the ground. She is not your enemy. Grayson's eyes widened. It speaks. More than you listen, Thorax growled. One soldier panicked and fired. The blast hit Ilya in the shoulder. She gasped, but she didn't fall. Instead, her skin glowed brighter. The wound sealed itself instantly. A trail of golden fire raced up her arm. Stop, Grayson shouted. Everyone back. She's unstable. Ilya raised her hand not to attack, but to show peace. I don't want to hurt you, she said, but I will not let you hurt me again. Grayson hesitated. The other soldiers looked to him. Unsure, Ilya took a slow step forward. Please, she said, her voice calm but strong. I am still me. I still remember every face here. I remember the meals we shared, the games we played. I remember being one of you. But now, I am something more. I can feel it. I was meant to protect, not destroy. Grayson aimed again. You're too dangerous. A fire flared in her palm. Thorax growled low, his wings rising. But Ilya whispered to herself, control, not rage. The fire faded. I won't become a monster, she said. Even if you treat me like one. There was silence. Then one of the younger soldiers lowered his weapon. A girl named Mara stepped forward. Her eyes were wet. Ilya, is it really you? Ilya smiled softly. It's still me, Mara. Mara looked at the others. She's not attacking. She's standing still. Look at her. She's not a threat. Another soldier lowered his rifle, then another. Grayson stared in disbelief. Don't be fools, he barked. She's already gone. No, Mara said, standing beside Aaliyah now. She came back stronger and kinder. Grayson shouted in anger, but he was alone, and for the first time, he realized it. He turned and ran, footsteps echoing into the darkness. Aaliyah let out a long breath. The golden glow around her dimmed. Mara touched her arm. What are you now? Aaliyah smiled gently. I don't know yet. But I'm not afraid anymore. Cyrex spoke from behind. Then the real test begins. They all turned to look at him. What test? Mara asked. Aaliyah's smile faded. Something worse is coming, she said. I saw it in my dreams. The other Heartstone has awakened, and it's not like me. Her voice dropped. It wants to burn everything. Aaliyah stood at the edge of the cave, feeling the wind on her skin. The sun was rising outside orange and soft, but it felt different now. Brighter, wilder. Wilder, like the world was holding its breath. Behind her, the chamber was quiet. The others had returned to the surface, confused but unharmed. Only Thorax remained with her, his great wings folded, his eyes watching the horizon. Aaliyah hadn't spoken for a while, not since she saw the dark fire in her dream. A second voice had come, not like the ember, not warm, not wise. This one was cold, full of hunger, and it had whispered one word: burn. She touched her chest again. The golden glow from the Heartstone still pulsed within her, but it was softer now, controlled. Her transformation had started, but it wasn't finished. Something's still missing, she whispered. Thyrex stepped forward. You have awakened. Your power, but not your purpose. She turned to him. Then how do I find it? You don't find it, he said. You become it. Aaliyah looked away. I don't know how to be anything. I'm not a soldier. I'm not a leader. I was just a girl no one wanted. Thorax lowered his head beside her. You were Aaliyah, but that name no longer holds your fire. She blinked. What do you mean? The ember doesn't just change your body, he said. It gives you a second birth. You must choose who you are now. You must name the fire inside. Aaliyah was quiet. Then she closed her eyes. She let the wind move through her hair, let the warmth from the sun and the ember flow through her together. And in that silence, she whispered a new name. Elithra. The Rex nodded slowly. A name of fire and sky. Her golden eyes opened. It means something, doesn't it? He rumbled softly. Long ago, it was the name of the last flame-born one who rose to stop a world from burning itself. You are. Not her, but maybe you're the one to finish what she could not. Elithra took a breath. She felt the name settle into her bones like it had always been there. Waiting, the voice inside, Hertha, Ember approved. A soft warmth passed through her body. But then, the warmth shifted. Beneath the golden light in her chest, a shadow stirred. She gasped. Thyrax turned quickly. What is it? It's the other one, Elithra said. It's waking up. It's suddenly, the ground shook beneath her feet. A deep roar came from the northern mountains far from the cave, yet powerful enough to make the sky tremble. Thyrex's eyes narrowed. The second Heartstone has chosen its vessel. Elithra looked toward the mountains, her eyes burning with light. I need to stop it. You're not ready, he warned. I wasn't ready to be abandoned. I wasn't ready to face you. I wasn't ready to change. But I did all of it anyway. She stepped forward. Wings of golden light shimmered behind her, still forming. Still fragile, but real. Thyrex's heart, ancient and cold for centuries, beat faster. You are stronger than I believed, he whispered. I have to be, she said. but don't stop the other vessel. I saw what happens. What did you see? A world turned to ash. No one left to cry. No sky, no stars, just burning. Elithra walked to the edge of a tall stone ledge. Her feet were still bare, her clothes torn, but she looked nothing. Like the girl who once wept in the dark. She looked like light, like fire shaped into hope. Thyrex stepped beside her. You will not go alone. She smiled gently. You're coming. I once followed war. Now I follow you. Together they spread their wings, hers of light, his of scale and flame, and jumped. They soared into the sky, and behind them, the cave pulsed once, then faded. Far away, across black hills and red stone, a figure stood in fire. Tall, broad, skin cracked like old earth, eyes red as blood. A second heartstone glowed in his chest, but it was not like Elithra's. It bled shadow, it fed on hate. He looked up into the sky. He felt her rising. He growled, You are late, sister of light. He raised his hands, and the mountains cracked open. Elithra flew faster, the wind rushing past her glowing body. She had never flown before, but her body remembered. The ember guided her. She looked down and saw villages below. People, children. She remembered when she was one. Of them, she still was. That's why she wouldn't let them burn. Thyrax flew beside her, flames trailing from his wings. You will face more than fire, he said. You will face the part of yourself that wants to destroy. She nodded. I won't become what they feared. He glanced at her. Then what will you become, Elithra? Didn't answer right away. Then she looked forward, golden light blazing from her eyes. A shield, a flame, a name they'll remember. The sky was bleeding fire. Ash rolled across the horizon like smoke from a broken star. Winds howled. Mountains cracked. Lightning screamed through the clouds, not from nature, but from him. He stood in the heart of the burning valley, tall, cold, alive with shadow. The second vessel, his name, now long forgotten, had been replaced by one thing, Varak, the ember of ruin, and in his chest burned the second. Heartstone dark red and pulsing like a dying sun. He raised his hands, and black fire danced across the sky. Towns below caught flame. Screams rose with the smoke. Above it all, two shadows cut across the sky. One of glowing gold, one of deep violet scale. Elithra and Thyrax flew side by side, faster than any storm. The wind tore at her skin, but she didn't flinch. The voice inside her was calm. The ember guided her thoughts. But this battle would not be won with power alone. It had to be won with who she was now. Not Elia. Not the cursed girl. Not the girl they threw away. She was Elithra. Now, chosen by the ember, carried by fire. And she would not let the world burn. They landed at the edge of the smoking valley. Heat licked her skin like knives, but her flame kept it away. Varak stood across from her, surrounded by blackened stone and broken ground. His body crackled with shadow fire. So you came, he said, voice like thunder through bones. Elithra stepped forward. I didn't come to fight. I came to end this. You think light can stop me? He laughed. You were human. Weak. Unloved. You were meant to be, Ash. I was, she said. But I chose to rise. Varak's eyes narrowed. We were the same ones. They feared you. They left you. Just like me. Maybe, Elithra said. But I didn't let the fire eat me. I became something new. He raised his hands. Fire spiraled. So did I. The ground cracked between them. Thyrex growled, flames curling from his jaws. He is beyond words now. His ember feeds on pain. Elithra nodded. Then I won't speak with words." She stepped into the air, rising slowly, golden wings stretching wide behind her. Varric launched into the sky, black wings like torn shadows, and the final battle began. They crashed above the clouds, light and shadow collided. Golden fire met black flame. The sky shook below. People watched from rooftops, caves, trees, eyes wide with fear and wonder. They had never seen anything like it. A dragon of light, a monster of shadow, both once human. Now, something more. Varric struck first. A whip of shadow cut across the sky. Elithra spun, fire blooming from her palms. The shadow burned away. She charged, her fist glowing with the ember's light. She struck his chest right where the heartstone pulsed. Varric screamed and fell back, his body tearing through a mountainside. But he rose again. "I'll tear the ember out of you." He roared. "You didn't earn it," she said. "It didn't choose you. I took it." He shouted, "Because no one gave me anything." "That's your curse," she said, eyes glowing. "But I won't let it become mine." Flew and then fire, roaring from his jaws. He crashed into Varric. Claws slashing. The valley lit up like a second sun. But Varric knocked him back with one blast of pure black flame. The dragon slammed into a cliff and didn't rise. Elithra turned screaming, "Thyrix." No answer. She turned to Varric, rage burning in her chest. "I didn't want to fight you," she said, "but I will end you." She rose, higher light pouring from her body. Now her golden wings stretched wide. Her voice echoed across the skies. "This world is not yours to burn." She flew forward, hands outstretched. Varric charged to meet her at the final second. She let go, not of her power, but of fear. The ember inside her responded. It opened fully, and in that moment, she didn't just use the fire. She became it. Light exploded across the sky. A wave of gold and silver tore through the valley. Everything went white. No sound, no fire. Just silence. Then, a gentle wind. A soft light falling like snow, and in the center of it, Elithra floated down. Her body burned. Her clothes torn, but she was alive. Varric was gone. Only a cracked, dark heartstone remained cold and lifeless. The fire had chosen her, and only her. Thyrix limped toward her from the smoke. "You did it," he said. "No," she replied, her voice quiet. "We did it." She fell to her knees, but people were already running toward her, not with weapons, with open arms. With hope, weeks passed. The sky slowly healed, so did the land. People spoke of the girl who fell into the cave, and the flame that rose. They called her Elithra the Bright. Some called her a savior. Others called her a myth. But one thing was certain: the girl they left to die saved them all, and far above, beyond the clouds. She flew again, not alone. Thyrix beside her, two wings, one sky, because the sky was never meant for just one. It was meant to be shared.